Hi, guys. Welcome to the Daily Dose for Friday, November 22nd, 2024. End of the week, Daily Dose. I want to talk about the two New York football teams. Not a good year for New York Giants and New York Jets. Let's start with the Jets. They fired their general manager, Joe Douglas, this week. It follows the firing of their head coach, Robert Saleh. This is all, to me, traced back to that fateful day when the Jets brass, the owner, the GM, the coach, the assistant coach, the part owner, flew out to Malibu to kiss the ring and beg for the services of Aaron Rodgers. Once they did that, they set in motion a power structure where basically Rodgers had the power. And I'm not going to say he picked the players or he picked the plays. He did what the coaches did, but he had some power. And then it became, first of all, getting Rodgers, where Joe Douglas ceded control of the trade leverage to the Packers. The Packers were able to wrangle out 2 high second-round picks, a first-round pick swap, and of course unloaded over $100 million of future payroll for a player that was never going to play there again. And then you get to acquiring Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb, and now Hassan Reddick, who's only playing half the year because he didn't like his contract. And it sort of set up a possibility that Joe Douglas would be set aside, and he was set up to fail. Listen, Joe Douglas didn't do a great job with drafting Zach Wilson, number 2, etc. But there's young talent there. He's a scout at heart, and he will be a happier person scouting somewhere else than the New York Jets, because that seemed to be from the top down a situation destined to fail with the power they gave Aaron and the way they were trying to win now. Sometimes all in is all out. Over to the other side of the borough in New Jersey, I guess they're neither of New York teams, the New York Giants are demoting not to second string, but to third or fourth string Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones signs his 4-year contract a few years ago, but it had 2 years of guarantees. The guarantees run out, at least the full guarantees run out after this year. What he has next year is an injury guarantee. And injury guarantees, as I've talked about before, only trigger if you're unable to play due to an injury that happened the previous year, that you still can't play that year. So I suppose the Giants will never say this, but they are benching Daniel Jones because they don't want him to suffer an injury that potentially could keep him out, not just this year, but next year. So they're avoiding that risk, and they're benching him, and he's not even the second string. I feel for Daniel Jones, and he was very classy in his comments to the media yesterday. It's not his fault. Not his fault he got $80 million. It's not his fault he was drafted 6th overall by the Giants. They overestimated his talent at the beginning, and they overestimated his talent when they gave him a new contract. So he'll walk away next year from the Giants to play somewhere else, having pocketed $82 million over 2 years. But let's be clear, the reporting on this contract when it started was Daniel Jones is signing with the Giants for 4 years, $160 million. No, he was not. This was never a $160 million contract, which it is still being reported as being. It's a 2-year, $82 million contract. Nothing's wrong with $82 million, but it's barely half of $160 million. So hopefully this faulty reporting and the game agents play with the media will go away, but I think I'm just kind of pie in the sky there. That's not going to happen. But for you to know, this was never a $160 million deal. It was a 2-year, $82 million deal, and Daniel Jones will move on somewhere else and not trigger the injury guarantees. So the Giants, while they have a cap hit, they'll be off the hook financially for Daniel Jones as of, it seems like, right now. Have a great weekend. Talk to you next week.